LeBron, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Jokic, SGA. Superstars on superstars that constantly get recognition and acknowledgement from their peers, media, and fans all over the world. But what about the other superstars that don't get mentioned as much? The guys that constantly put in work and are the best players in the league, but don't get talked about as much as they should. Let's talk about the most underrated superstars in NBA history. Let's start with Jayson Tatum. Now, you might be thinking, how is Jayson Tatum underrated? He's a superstar. And you're right. Tatum is one of the top players in the NBA today. But when you look at the bigger picture, Tatum often gets overshadowed by other young stars like Luka Doncic and Zion Williamson. Tatum is already an elite scorer, a great defender, and one of the most complete players in the league at just 25 years old. He's made multiple All-NBA teams, is consistently in the MVP conversation, and led the Boston Celtics to 2 finals appearances, and winning one in the process. Despite this, Tatum is sometimes still not included in the same breath as the other superstars in the league, like Giannis. What makes Tatum so underrated, especially in comparison to other superstars, is his all-around contributions. He's not just a scorer. He's a versatile forward who can guard multiple positions and is capable of locking down the best players on opposing teams. Plus, his basketball IQ is off the charts. Tatum can impact the game in so many ways beyond scoring, but the media and casual fans still don't always give him the credit he deserves for being one of the most well-rounded players in the league. Next up, let's talk about Scottie Pippen. Now, I personally didn't think he was underrated until I posted another video mentioning him, and I got this comment. When you hear about the Chicago Bulls dynasty, Michael Jordan is the headline, and rightfully so. He's arguably the greatest player of all time. But Scottie Pippen was the heart and soul of that team, and in many ways, he was the player that allowed Jordan to be the offensive juggernaut he was. Pippen was one of the most versatile players to ever play the game. Standing 6'8", he could guard virtually any position on the floor, and he was known for his disruptive defense and elite passing ability. He was often tasked with guarding the best player on the opposing team, which didn't just help the Bulls win games, it changed the entire dynamic of the game. And while Jordan was putting up 30 plus points a game, Pippen was quietly contributing 20 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals every night, all while facilitating the offense and being a dynamic playmaker. Let's not forget he was a 7-time All-Defensive First Team selection and a 6-time champion. But despite all this, Pippen is still often overshadowed by MJ. He gets labeled as just a sidekick. But anybody who watched those Bulls teams knows that he was more than that. He was a Hall of Famer in his own right. And without him, the Bulls dynasty likely never happens. Reggie Miller was, without a doubt, one of the most dangerous shooters in NBA history. Known for his clutch performances, particularly in the playoffs against the New York Knicks, Miller was the heart and soul of the Indiana Pacers for nearly 2 decades. But even though he was a 5-time All-Star and made a huge impact on the game, Miller often gets overshadowed by other great shooting guards, like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and Dwayne Wade. Let's talk about Miller's impact. Miller revolutionized the way we view the 3-point shot, and his ability to knock down clutch shots made him one of the most feared players in late-game situations. However, Miller's legacy is often dismissed because of his lack of championships. Despite being the Pacers franchise player for over 18 seasons, he's never won an NBA title. But that doesn't mean he wasn't one of the most consistent and dominant players of his era. His ability to score in bunches, especially in clutch time moments, made him one of the most dangerous perimeter players the league has ever seen. Next, we have John Stockton, a player who truly defines the word underrated. Stockton retired as the NBA's all-time leader in both assists and steals, and to this day, no one has come close to breaking his assist record. He played 19 seasons for the Utah Jazz and was the epitome of consistency, averaging over 12 assists per game in 8 of those seasons. But despite his dominance as a point guard, he often gets overlooked when talking about the greatest players of all time. What makes Stockton so underrated is that, despite leading the league in assists for almost a decade and being a 10-time All-Star, he was never the flashiest player. He wasn't the most athletic, and he didn't rely on highlight reel dunks or insane crossovers to make his impact. Instead, Stockton excelled in basketball IQ, timing, and his pure vision on the court. He made his teammates better, and he was the reason the Utah Jazz were consistently competitive throughout the 90s. Plus, don't forget about his defense. Stockton was an outstanding defender at the point guard position, making him one of the most complete players in history. He was a 5-time All-Defensive Team selection and consistently led the league in steals. Despite all this, Stockton rarely gets his due whenever we talk about the best point guards of all time, with players like Magic Johnson and Isaiah Thomas often getting more recognition. Finally, let's talk about Alex English, one of the NBA's greatest scorers that often gets lost in the shuffle when we talk about the dominance of the 80s and the 90s. English was the face of the Denver Nuggets for over a decade, and he's the franchise's all-time leader in points, rebounds, and minutes played. He was the league's leading scorer in 1983, but his smooth scoring game and high-flying ability never gained widespread recognition it deserved. English wasn't just a volume scorer. He did it efficiently. He averaged over 25 points per game for 8 straight seasons, and he scored in a variety of ways. Whether it was his silky jump shot, his ability to finish in transition, or his crafty post moves. He was incredibly durable, playing 1,200 plus games in his career, and he did it all without the flash or attention that other stars in his era got. Even though he wasn't as well known as Magic Johnson or Larry Bird, English was a key figure in the high-scoring Denver Nuggets teams of the 80s. He helped lead them to several playoff appearances. But despite his great career, he's often left out of the discussion of one of the best forwards of his time. Jayson Tatum, Scottie Pippen, Reggie Miller, John Stockton, and Alex English. These are some of the most underrated NBA players of all time. Each of them had an incredible impact on the game, but for various reasons, they don't get the recognition they deserve. Whether it's overshadowed by their teammates, overlooked because they never won a championship, or simply flying under the radar in a league full of superstars. These players left legacies that should be remembered more often. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. All that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later.